What happened today? What happened yesterday?
And welcome, folks, to the dog days of sports in the summer. We don't know what the hell to talk about.
Hey,
You're
that was
literally
perfect.
pondering what happened today, what happened yesterday is, as we say, welcome to the Elle Duncan Show with Gary Streisky, befuddled. This is literally just to give you a little peek into the world of sports, what every producer is going through right now, unless, of course, you
Yeah.
are NBA specific, because, of course, we have the NBA draft, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But this is why your favorite sports personalities miss a lot of time in the summer because there's just not a lot to talk about, sir, which is exactly where we come in. We feel like we are summer proof because we don't talk about anyway.
We are, call us Phil because we're filibustering right now for the next 30, 45 minutes. It is
What a
funny that you
tease.
mentioned that because we were because we were in our show group the other day and we're running down the list of scheduling in July and in August and we're like, "Oh, this person's taking 3 weeks off. Oh, this person's going to be gone for the next 4 weeks." You can probably take a guess as to who these people are. We're like, oh, we're not going to see this person till what's that? August? This is the time. I think this is the time where you see yourself in the building at ESPN. Oh, you need somebody to be called off the bench to fill in on a sports center that literally they've had to call 5 people deep now in to come cover.
Yeah.
I'm your guy. And that's how we got started. And look at us now, Elle.
Yeah, 100%. We both were those people. Like, I always knew when I first started at ESPN, summer was my time to thrive. I was going to
Uh-huh.
be the fill in. I will fill in for you. I'll do my most work because no one wants to work during the summer. Certainly, we understand why. Especially, there's always this like the sports side of you that loves these great stories, loves these game
Mhm.
sevens. We just had one in the Stanley Cup final. And then there's the sports business person in you that is like, man, as soon as we watched those Florida Panthers lift Lord Stanley's cup, I was like, oh, we really don't have to talk about. It's
Mm,
over. Especially because so here's the thing is that if Edmonton had completed what would have been just the second time in history, right? That a team came down from an 0-3 hole and won the Stanley Cup final, if they would have done that, we could have got a couple of days worth of
for
milking
sure.
that story, right? Reaction, how horrible. You would have seen all these in plays where we talked about other epic collapses. There would have
Yes.
been some story about it, add it to the annals of great collapses of all time. I mean, we would be all over it. But because Florida did what we assumed that they were going to do 3 games ago and won it all, it became sort of a looks good. Here's some
Mhm.
cool that the Stanley Cup's doing right now. We've moved right on. Now we're already to all of the celebrations that the Stanley Cup is involved in because, of course, the one wrinkle and quirk and difference between that trophy and all other sports trophies is that that trophy likes to party hard. That trophy has seen some things, Gary.
Yo, the Stanley Cup has been to some places that you need ID to get into, and some places that they don't want to know who you are. It's been in some dark rooms, it's been in some dark situations, but right now, also, L, great use of the word in play for those of us who might not be familiar. That's like the graphic that you see before this long story of, can you believe in 1990 and then in 1987 and then in 1970 something? This is just L bringing Sports Center to the listeners, to the viewers. But yes, it's always an adventure where the Stanley Cup is going to end up. And 3 of the last 5 seasons, it has ended up and called South Florida home, whether it was twice with the Lightning or obviously right now in Sunrise with the Florida Panthers. And this is my favorite part of it is where will it end up next? But then also, I guess the millennial 30 something year old part of me is like, wow, that big hunk of silver is really getting exposed to the elements, and silver does corrode. And do you know what the number one thing that causes corrosion on silver? Salt. All right. And Matthew Kachuk is out there dipping it in the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's pouring beer off a balcony into strangers' mouths. And this is my personal favorite part of the Stanley Cup goings on, is seeing where it's going to go and what bodily fluid or non-bodily fluid is going to end up in the cup.
Well, I was going to ask you what you would do with the Stanley Cup, but now I already know.
I'm racking my brain here, and it's like where's the first place you would bring the cup? And I think everybody sort of has like the same standard answer is like, oh, I'll take it to my neighborhood bar, or I'm gonna have the day with the cup and bring my family around it. That's all good, well, and fine. But when you have 24 hours, as every player or staff member on an organization will have sometime during the summer, 24 hours with the cup, like you want to maximize the cup's aura and the cup's ability to let you cut in front of lines or create a group or get into places you generally want to get into. So for me, the place I would take the Stanley Cup is like a government building. Or if I needed to go to the hospital, I'm taking it to me with me there. Or if I need to do anything with the motor vehicle department, this is the day that I'm taking the Stanley Cup there. Because I got to imagine, Elle, listen, you've gotten your license changed before. The lines are stupid and you have to dedicate a whole day. I'm just thinking if there's any piece of if there's any sports piece of trophy that's going to allow you to cut a line, it's the Stanley freaking Cup. So I'm taking it with me to run my daily errands so I can be a little bit more efficient with those and not have to stand in line. I don't think that's too crazy.
No, it's the opposite. That is the most basic, boring celebration that the Stanley Cup. The
No,
Stanley Cup has seen so many things. You think the Stanley Cup wants to see the DMV?
I
Insane.
guarantee you it's the first time it would.
You've got to think for yourself too. Well, to that point, because people always do nefarious things with a cup, drink things
Yeah,
out of it, usually beer. How about doing something, humor me here,
I'm listening.
that is a little bit wholesome, but also really on brand, right?
Okay.
So, as we now know, no Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup since 1993.
Okay.
And the biggest slap in the face, that is the year that the Florida Panthers became a hockey team. All right.
Ooh.
So, this is devastating, right? So, they win. And here's my thing: what if we did this? What if, just as an act of friendship between two nations that like each other, the
Mm.
Panthers were to, let's just say, take the cup to a very popular Canadian hospital, and you could use the cup to baptize babies in the cup.
Yeah,
Now, of
that's
course, the
good.
cup, because in Canadian fashion, should either be filled with syrup or
Yep.
molten ice, but you could sort of, it would be a ritual. Like you would christen the baby
I like
in the
that.
Stanley Cup, just dip it in
Hmm.
there, right? And
Hmm.
I feel like that's something adorable, sweet. It lets the Canadians in on this process since it's something that has escaped them for 30 years. I think this could be a thing that's really cool and obviously a lot more interesting than taking it to the front of the line at the Target, Gary.
No, listen, Elle, I didn't say Target. All right, generally I'm ordering online, so I'm skipping lines ahead of time. We've had this conversation, Elle, that we are not out here to get freebies. We're not out here, for people, even though, hey, people send us stuff and that's all good. I think what we appreciate the most is efficiency, okay, and what's the word that I'm looking for here? Convenience. We are looking for convenience. And I'm just thinking that the Stanley Cup is Thor's hammer in the convenience aspect of it. It would allow you to get things done exponentially faster than otherwise. Also, I do like the Stanley Cup idea since you have birthed two humans. Is the cup at the top of it big enough to put a baby in?
Well, it depends on how, earlier in the process you're christening the baby. I would say
Gotcha.
you need to
Gotcha.
probably start it earlier in the process. The cup isn't that big, but you could definitely dip a baby in there.
So like we're
Yeah.
talking from womb to cup, just sort of like
Yeah.
a just like you're sort of basting chicken cutlets. Like you
Oh,
take it out and
yeah.
then you baste it, boom, bang, boom, right?
Yeah, babies come out covered in all kinds of crud. What
Yes.
better way to remove all of that crud off of them than a little dip in a vat of molten ice, also known as the Stanley Cup? I think it's
No,
an idea. And honestly, your idea, while yes, would knock out some relatively boring chores for you, if you can't put it on social and make it interesting, did it really ever happen? And I'm thinking of this in the same way as I think about the Bills, right? It is a rite of
okay.
passage as a Bills fan, as a young Bills fan, as even as we've seen on social media, some babies to get thrown through a folding table.
Uh-huh.
I think that this could sort of similarly be a way that you indoctrinate the new generation of Canadian hockey fans who will live to be disappointed because they can't actually win a cup. But at the very least, they had a chance to be dipped in it. And you also get to uphold the cardinal rule of never touching the cup before you win
That's
one. So I
correct.
think it's a win-win situation for all. And I'm glad that I mentioned Buffalo because now that the Panthers have officially won, they finally won
Yep.
their first championship. We've got many others that
Hmm.
still have never won a championship. And it's obviously very early in the process because we're only in June. But I already mentioned to you that we're all hanging on by a wing and a prayer just to get to football season. So, God damn
Come
it, we're
on.
going to make it happen right now. Which
Come on.
football team in the NFL, Gary, would you like to see the next Florida Panther finally get that trophy?
Okay, this is a perfect segue because as the Panthers just won in the NHL, I can tell you the last team that I want to see win a Super Bowl is the Panthers in the NFL. And it has nothing to do with anybody on that roster. I think Bryce Young is going to come into form. He's going to be a great quarterback in this league, I think. Okay, yes, they just approved renovations to Bank of America Stadium. That's all good, well, and fine for the people in Charlotte and for the people in the Panthers fan base, but David Tepper is not a likable owner, so I don't want to see the Panthers win a freaking Super Bowl. So he is last on my list. The Panthers are last on my list as it relates to teams that I want to see win. Now, if we're talking about first on my list, Elle, you're going to appreciate this. The Falcons are right up there. And obviously, it has a lot to do with you being a friend and you striving for, even though you're a Broncos fan, I know that you obviously are a staple in the city of Atlanta. And I got to root for less than a handful of Korean dudes in the league, one being Young Hoi Koo, kicker for the
Yeah.
Falcons. So
Keep
I'm trying
it
to see
cool,
him
young
take that
ho.
Lombardi, just like Heinz Ward did when the Steelers won in 2006, walk off the plane and become um a freaking country hero. So give me the Falcons winning a Super Bowl. Also, I do have the Bills up there as well as Detroit because Buffalo and Detroit are just two cities that seem awesome as it relates to throwing a party and throwing a parade. I think they deserve it. And I want to see a parade being thrown in the freaking dead cold of a Buffalo February or a Detroit February because I don't think it will matter for that fan base. We'll see less people, we'll see more people without shirts during that parade than we would see people with shirts. And that's something that we have to have.
That was quite an answer. Wow. Yes. Let me unpack first the Falcons. I'm glad you said it. No, the Falcons are not my team, but Atlanta is my city. I want nice things for them. 28-3 is horrific. And it's going to be a butt of everybody's joke until they can finally win a championship. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be with Kirk Cousins, but certainly we'll see. And yeah, I think everybody's obvious is the Bills. Like the Browns have that lovable loser crap. Although a lot of that got dispelled after they won with the Cavaliers, but still, they've got a predator on the team. I can't exactly root for the Browns in any type of way.
We're in lockstep.
Yeah, I'm like, I just find that, just covering the Browns in general still feels a bit icky to me. So certainly I'm not rooting for them actively over a team like the Bills, who of course lost 4 straight Super Bowls, which is really, really hard to do. Lions as well. I mean, I love it for Detroit and for the Lions fans, them being good, them being interesting, them being in it. But yeah, so I'm with you on that list. I'm 100% with the rest of the teams. You've got like the Texans, the Bengals, the Vikings, the Cardinals, I don't know, the Jags, Titans, Chargers. Like none of those teams sort of stand out to me when it comes, time to like really throw your weight behind. I love that I'm saying all this. Honestly, the Broncos, how about that? Okay.
Whoa, hey,
Sure.
whoa, hold
We've got
on.
three, but we don't have any since I became a national sports anchor. And
Y'all just,
so,
what are you talking about? 2015, you're right. 2015?
yeah,
Oh, and you
exactly.
started ESPN in 2016.
Yeah,
Oh, so
exactly.
you're the curse. L,
I must
yikes.
be. That's what I'm saying. What's the point of even having a really cool job on national TV if you can't gloat about your fucking football team being any good? They've
Yeah,
sucked since I got there. They sucked. And
that's a bad.
I'm sick of it. So yeah, while I'm wishing great things for all these other random teams, how about for my team? Okay. I've got a whole bunch of free swag that I would like to wear, okay, without
That's
being
selfish.
embarrassed this year. So get it together, Denver
Hey,
Broncos. I'm
by
rooting
the
for
way,
them.
did you find out
No,
the supplier of
no.
no?
I just keep wearing it every day, hoping that, like, someone will see me at work and be like, "So you did get the shirt." I'm
Between then
wishing.
and now,
We're just
Have you
gonna see.
received any more care packages?
I have not. No,
Oh, wow.
not things that I did not know were coming. So yeah,
Wow. Okay. Postal Service gonna do a welfare check on the crib. They're like, whoa, hold on, hold on. We
are they
haven't
y'all
sent a
good?
box of goods to the Duncan residence in 2 days. Something must be wrong. Hmm.
Speaking of doing a welfare check, have we checked on Zach Wilson,
Hey,
who
he's
is, of
thriving.
course, now a Denver Bronco? It just gets worse. He will be battling out with Bo Nix
Yep, that's right.
for starting quarterback with the Broncos. And apparently, Zach Wilson has decided, because it didn't go so well with the Jets, that he will reinvigorate himself by bringing a new look to the table. This look has debuted across the internet,
It
and
looks good.
is that what you would say that it
Ellie,
described that as?
listen, the slicked back hair from the blonde bombshell himself, dude, he's
Mm,
getting closer. He's getting closer back to Utah, man. He is
no.
feeling at home. Elle, you know how crunchy Colorado is, and I can say that because I grew up there. All right, I moved away in 2010, but I went to school there. I grew up in Thornton, Colorado. My sister went to school in Boulder. I went my freshman year at Colorado State in Fort Collins. That's how all the dudes are rocking the hippie, slick back, blonde. Like if Zach
You see
Wilson and
hippie there? No,
and
no,
I'm
no. Hippie is long and straight, and
well,
that is
okay,
not
no,
hippie. That is
no,
giving 80s villain, like says problematic things and picks on like the kid at school that is a little bit slow because he's an asshole. That's what that's giving. He looks ridiculous. It's not great. And let me tell you
okay,
something. This is a pro tip. When you have a tiny little forehead, all right? And I know this is someone with a big fat giant forehead. When I slick my hair back, it looks like you could literally project a movie on my head, all
okay,
right? So I've got to be
brag about
very
it.
careful about how I wear my hair. When you have a tiny forehead, you can't slick that thing back. Look at that. It's just a little bit like a little strip of land. It looks like
He's lucky.
the looks like the boot part of Italy. It's just too small. And I
Okay,
don't
first of all, the
understand why
boot part
you
of
mess
Italy
with
is
your
the
look if
most
you're
famous
Zach.
part.
I don't know
Uh,
if you why you're Zach Wilson, why you're messing with your look like this,
nah, he
but
looks good.
it looks ridiculous,
First of
Gary.
all, back to the bullying thing. I think that we need to bring bullying back in a big way. Okay. So Zach Wilson already ahead of the game there. And it's picture day. L, of course he's gonna have his hair slicked back. But I bet you during his off days, that is flowing. That is flowing like Bradley Van Pelt, CSU of CSU fame. This has shades, L, and you might think I'm tripping, but Zach Wilson, this look has shades of Jake the Snake Plumber reincarnated for the Broncos. And
What?
don't say a bad word about Jake the Snake. He led that Broncos team to a couple good seasons. All right.
Wow. Yeah. He led that Broncos team to a couple of good seasons and then he quit to go play handball.
Okay, which is better than the alternative that you're dealing with right now. I just think that you have to give Zach Wilson slash Bo Nix an actual chance with Sean Payton as the quarterback and offensive guru that he's been able and he's proven to be in his tenure. And I like the slick back hair look. It's just not for me. Could I rock it? No. Remember that time I did try to grow out my hair, L, and I
Yeah,
sent
it looks
you and Trevor Scales a
insane.
picture, and I was like, why did y'all ever let me do this?
Yeah, it looks
Why did
crazy.
you ever let me do this? I'll make sure I get a picture to Jackson, DP, and Christina of Gary. Listen, I was going through some stuff. It was COVID. You know what I mean? I thought switching up the look, that's not for me, but this could be for Zach.
I think that a lot of times people just get too cute with it. Like, I will tell you, there's one person that switched up their hair. By the way, when someone just does something very basic, like change their hairstyle or get contacts, we call it the she's all that glow up,
Uh-huh.
which is essentially that person was good looking already. They just like cut their hair a little bit, and that was all the glow up really needed to be. It was no extreme makeover situation here.
Yeah.
But the person that needed that haircut, I think that glowed up the best from the haircut, Gordon Hayward. Do you remember how
Yeah.
horrible that little Dutch boy,
Yeah.
like Lloyd Christmas haircut thing was when he went to Utah? And then he comes to Boston and all of a sudden he's got like this sort of slicked, it actually was
Yeah.
like a little bit of a coif like
No,
you, Gary. The
he had the
before and after was
part.
impressive.
No, everybody, listen, everybody, you got to remember also the times we were in the early teens, right? 2010, 11, 12. Justin Bieber and the side swoop. That was everything. That was everything. You talk about, hiding a forehead. If you showed any forehead, you weren't cool. All right.
Yeah.
So the side swoop was cool. But then you go to Boston. All right. He gets a little bit of bread. And then the high fade with the side part, that
Yeah.
was it. I mean, I was
Yeah.
rocking that for a little bit. There were some pictures of me where I'm like, it was all hair at the top. It looked like I had a bouffant? Is that what
Yeah.
they're called?
Mhm.
And then I was just military on the side, dude, just
Yeah.
bicked on the side. That was the look, L.
Yeah. It was. Did it make
And then
you
he grew it back
proud,
out when he went
boy?
to Charlotte. What'd you say?
Yeah, he went to Charlotte, like, it lasted for a little bit, but again, it impacted his play. I mean,
True.
right? Like, getting your haircut at Fantastic Sam's Gordon Hayward was a lot better than the 300 haircut Gordon Hayward, in large part because Gordon Hayward couldn't stay on the court, he was always injured. When you
Correct.
think about glow ups, like, I think Tom Brady obviously always comes to mind because he was just like that sort of just, like, chunky dad bod white boy.
But L, that's I
What a
mean, that's getting to be problematic, right? Like
Oh, he
I
keeps
mean,
with his face, he needs to stop.
yes, I
Yeah,
know. I mean,
yeah,
he's had more surgeries post playing than his 20 years playing. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? That dude stayed away, all right, from procedures during his 20 years, and I think he's just trying to make up for lost time. He's like, "You know what? I didn't have enough surgeries during my playing days. Let's go back under the knife." It's kind of weird, man.
Yeah, some athletes do that. Some people, like, hit their peak, like, Tom Brady hit his peak, but not the blonde Met Gala look, but the Met Gala look where he was wearing, like, almost like the military looking garb, and he had that high and tight, and he
Yeah.
looks pretty hot. He was tan, like,
Yeah.
clearly Giselle had put her fingers.
That was
I
his
think that was the
natural
peak.
look.
Yeah, I think that was, like, the peak of him, and then he has had diminishing returns since just because, again, he keeps messing with his face.
Yeah.
But nobody takes the cake more of post-career glow down. I don't even know what the term is for a glow down than Sammy Sosa. Oh,
Oh, L, come on.
nah,
That's
bruh.
scientific.
That's the how is that scientific? What are you talking about? The man, yeah, it's scientific in that he keeps bleaching his face. He looks crazy.
Wait,
He
hold on.
looks crazy.
Wait, you talking about Sammy Sosa going from being a,
A
a
black
black
man
to a
to now looking like he should be starring in White Chicks too?
wait,
Yes.
hold on. That's self-induced? That's not
Yes.
wait, hold on. Time out. That's not like a thing?
No.
He's doing that on purpose?
He's doing that to himself. It's
Stop
bleach
it.
cream. And you know what's crazy?
What?
I actually accidentally got given some bleach cream. So I'm at my facialist getting Botox, and I was just telling her I wanted to do like a mask or something, or do like one of those great facials or something. Or a peel. And she's like, "Well, the problem is that any of the really great peels that will make an impact, you're gonna have to like no makeup for 10, 12 days." I'm like, "Well, I'm on air every day. That's not something I can do." She's like, "Well, what's the issue? Like, what are you concerned about?" And I said, "Well, I just have some melasma, which is like little brown spots, sun damage. Some of it was from being pregnant." I was like, "And I just want to get rid of some of these little brown spots on my face." She was like, "I got just the thing." I was like, "All right, cool," you know? So she gives it to me, and this is what should have clued me into like, "Hey, maybe Google what is this?" She was like, "So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 1 to 2 pumps of this in with our normal moisturizer. We're gonna
Oh.
put it on the spots that we," she's like, "and then we're only gonna use this for about 2 months, 3 months top, and then we're gonna give this a break for about a year." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "We're just make sure that you just write down when you start using it because we're just not gonna want to use it after 2 to 3 months." And I was like, "Okay." And I get it home, I ask no other questions. I'm that
That's too much
vain.
trust.
I'm that vain. I'm like, "You say you can get rid of these little brown spots on my face? Hell yeah." And sure enough, Gary, within days, these spots are fading. They're going away. I was like, "Oh, like I'm looking good. What is this magic potion?" And my husband Omar sees it sitting on the counter and he was like, "Girl, you bleaching your skin?" I was like, "What?"
What?
And he was like, "This is skin bleach." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, I was noticing you were looking a little bit pale." He's like, "What do you think it is that's like getting rid of those brown spots? You're literally bleaching them off." I was like, "I can't wait to stop using this in 2 to 3 months."
Wait, hold on. When was this?
This was like recently. It's still downstairs. I'm telling you, like I have accidentally been now. Some people use it because they want to get rid of their melasma. Some people use it because they want to get rid of any identifier that they are a person of color. Insert what we all believe Sammy Sosa is doing. Now he's denied it. He says, "I don't What are you talking about? I'm not, this is me. This is my normal color, which is just, it's absurd.
Holy smokes. Well, I'm glad Omar came to save the day for Elle, our still black queen.
Stick around. When we come back, we'll hit you with an in case you missed and some ideas that we've got for the Hallmark channel on
Oh,
how they can really be using the NFL and other sports as a mining territory for fantastic Christmas content. Ooh, we back and we still
uh.
black. Well, I am.
Hey, I was getting worried. I was getting worried.
Disappeared to just touch up on that bleaching cream
God,
again.
damn.
I wish I could put bleaching cream in my eyes sometimes when I see the
Oh,
plots of these Hallmark Christmas movies. I've never really been that person that's like, I love trash TV. Don't get it wrong. I'm not some
you
like
do.
cinephile that refuses to watch garbage. I watch all
Yeah.
kinds of bullshit. But I've never been able to get in on like Christmas Came to Town and all of the Hallmark movies and all their ridiculousness. But one was just recently revealed that I think I could get behind. And that
Yes.
is that this year, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship will potentially be the plot line of a new Hallmark Christmas movie that will
Yes.
involve in some way the Chiefs and one of their players falling in love and blah, 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 blah. And I'm here for it. I love it. And I started thinking, Gary, like, what are some really great storylines that could or already exist in the sports world
Hey,
that are really easily translatable to a Hallmark Christmas movie?
I'm gonna tell you right now, sports is the best theater. By the way, I'm really looking forward to seeing the casting in that Hallmark movie. They film a lot of those in
They
Connecticut.
do, right up the street.
Yeah,
A ton
interesting.
of them.
Okay. I compiled a small list. Okay. My first
Okay.
one, this was a real life drama that happened in the NBA. We're still workshopping the title here. Here are a couple of my options.
Mhm.
Gone Fishing, In the Barn, or Go Vaughn, Go Fish. And L, this love story is the triangle offense meeting its match with an even more offensive triangle. What are we talking about? When
Right.
Derek Fisher stole Matt Barnes's wife.
Ah,
Remember that? And then Matt
yeah.
Barnes got in the whip and then they went and fought, but now they're
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Gone fishing. A
Yeah.
Hallmark drama.
That's a good one. That is, man, for those of you that are listening that are like sports casual fans, after this podcast or show is over, I'm really gonna implore you to just Google that whole situation because it is so much free. Like it's wild. I don't even know if it's Hallmark. I think it's more soap opera.
Well,
Imagine taking, you know what? There's a little bit of that as well that we saw in San Antonio with Tony Parker. These are all allegedly cheating on Eva
oh,
Longoria with Rick Barry's wife. Like they were cool and
what?
friends. And then this is all alleged, but this is also apparently what went into the divorce and why that relationship deteriorated as well. So there's a little bit of, what's funny is the greatest example of that of all time of wife swapping was actually what I was going to pitch for my storyline because it's something that has also happened. Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich were teammates on the Yankees in like the 40s and 50s. I'm sorry, 50s and 60s. But they notoriously became famous because it was announced that in 1972 they had fallen in love with each other's wives because they were good friends. They hung out, each other's families, they both had
Yep.
kids.
Yep.
And they realized they had fallen in love with each other's wives. And so they did a life swap. And they were clear to say, we didn't do a wife swap, we did a life swap. And they swapped wives. One of them moved into the home of the other, one moved into the other home, and they proceeded to completely switch families, switch children. And it was like all gravy, baby. Like it was all good. And I think that now one of the couples ended up staying together, getting married and being a whole thing. The other couple predictably broke up, but they said until the
What?
very end that they were homies, that they were cool with it. It didn't affect their friendship or their ability to be teammates. They did an entire life swap. And I think that you can call it the change up.
Oh,
right?
instead of the side piece, it's the slide piece. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that is like the real life reincarnation of it ain't no fun if the homies can't
Can't
have
have
that's
none. Yep. Isn't
crazy.
that wild?
You think that'd be a Hallmark movie?
Yeah, because it's like they've like listen, yours is not a lovey movie. It ends up with like a fight and like fine, they're ultimately fine, but at the end of the day someone got their wife stolen. In this
Correct.
situation, they were
Ah,
both like, "You know what? I actually like yours better. You want to
got it.
we doing this?" And they mostly lived happily ever after. So it feels a little bit more hallmarky than,
Got it. Well,
"Yo,
generally, it is
yeah,
water under the bridge for both Barnes and Fisher. They are on speaking terms. They call it amicable. I just thought there had to be a protagonist to combat the antagonist, and that was obviously where the conflict lied. This is going to be another bit of a love triangle, L,
okay.
for my second pitch. I
Okay.
call this horsing around.
Oh.
Okay. And this, again, a love triangle between Nikola Jokic and his day job as an NBA All Star between his true love, which is horse racing.
Mm.
So when he has to leave his horses and go see about a girl, which is his Nuggets, NBA, don't know how you're going to cast that. Obviously, you need to cast an entire team. Don't know if there's working active horses in the Hallmark ecosystem, but I feel like that has a chance. Now, you're towing the line between some stuff that you're not allowed to do. And I don't know how family friendly Hallmark is, but I'm just saying that can be something.
I'm actually really glad you explained that because when you said a love triangle between Nikola Jokic and a horse, I was like, "Yo, you
Yeah.
can see that in Tijuana, sir." And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
definitely not
That's why I was
Hallmark.
like, I don't know the rules. I don't know the rules
That's
between
not
Hallmark
Hallmark.
movies. I don't know if it's like NC-17 or M for mature.
No, that feels like
I'm not familiar.
a curtain in the back of a video store, and then you have to
Mm,
go through 2 locked doors, and then, like, you have to conceal yourself so you can get a videotape because that's the only way that you can actually
got it.
watch a
Okay.
horse and a person.
I misunderstood the assignment. Okay. Hand up. That's on me. I'm
I
following your
mean,
I'll follow your lead, L.
there's an audience for that. It's just I hope and pray it's not this audience. Do you have any other ones?
Well, again, I think I misunderstood the assignment, but I do have one more.
Okay.
This one I call four dresses or four dress rehearsals.
Oh,
This is a down and out right winger who's trying to find the group of men that's the correct group of men after he struggles to find his one true love. Will it ever be his? After losing four Stanley Cups in the last 5 years with four different teams. Of course, I speak of Corey Perry, who is down and
okay.
out. Okay. Can't
I don't
find
think
the
Corey Perry wants you to describe him as a right winger.
well, he's a right wing. He's a right wing
Okay. You should
lineman.
say he plays right wing. I really don't think that he wants that connotation
Well,
attached
I
to
don't
him.
know. Well, I don't
You
know.
lost me at right wing, although you could definitely get that movie off on Fox News, maybe
I'm
not
saying,
on Hallmark.
but Corey Perry has lost four Stanley Cups with
Okay.
four different teams in the last
Wow.
5 years. That's like true heartbreak.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a good one, Gary. I don't think people know about his sad sack story.
Thank you. So I don't know. There's not like a female love interest or a male love interest. I don't know what Corey Perry's all about, but I'm just saying that's got the makings of a Hallmark movie. Hand up, misunderstood the assignment.
No, I just think that your pitches are bad. I just think that you should not start any pitch with a right winger tries to find the right group because
Of men.
that's could there you go. This is a reason that we are sports personalities and we are not pitchmen for the Hallmark. Although I would watch any one of those before I'd watch, Christmas Come Early or whatever they're all called, where eventually some big city girl, that's always my
Yeah.
favorite too, is just the tropes. Some big city girl with some important job comes back home and
Well,
she
yeah,
can't
that's
be
because
bothered with all the little people till she realizes they've got it better. She
that's
may
right.
got Gucci, but they got the goods.
That's right. I mean, her grandmother's printing press is on the brink of bankruptcy. Okay. And she has the tools and that big law degree to stop it. And will she? I don't know. I don't know.
And then will she decide to give up her law degree, something she worked so hard for because the local plumber
Yes,
caught her when she tripped and fell and almost broke her face on the grate?
correct.
Sure,
Now
she
he's
will. She's going to
now
give it
he's
all up for that little plumber man.
I'm saying now he's laying a different kind of pipe. You know what I'm saying? Elle,
And we're,
stop it. This
and
is a
we're back to the
podcast and an internet program.
NC-17.
You got to grow up.
And we're back to the so that's what I learned on the podcast today is that essentially most of Gary's creative thoughts just involve some type of way to get a porn put together,
Oh my God.
whether that be horses,
Oh,
whether that
oh,
be with plumbers,
you're
whatever it
so
is. This man needs to be involved creatively in getting these porn plot storylines off the ground.
Oh, I hate you.
What
I
did you
did
learn
describe a
today,
bunch of
Gary?
porn. No, I did. I did. Hand up. That's on me. That's on me.
What did you learn today, Gary?
I learned that maybe I don't have an innocent mind. I thought that I did. Yeah.
Dirty Gary. I like that. I like your new turn as Dirty Gary. It's usually always me. I'm tired of people acting like you're the sweet, innocent one, and I'm the crude, crass, sailor-mouthed, nasty one.
Well, you still are.
I have never, for the record, ever said that I would love to see bestiality on the Hallmark Channel. And with
Oh,
that,
hey.
the Elle Duncan Show. We'll see you on Monday. We love you. What a way to end. Sit on that one, Gary. Good night. Also, rate and review and subscribe and all that stuff. And don't give us a nasty rating. I promise this is the last time we'll talk about this.